completely different complications, which is why I deleted 3 of the last live streams. One complication was that for whatever reason, they're building 2 brand new cell phone towers right across the street from the Bellevue Hotel, about 300 feet away. I think they shut off the internet again. Right around this time every day, the internet fails when I'm on this end of the beach. That was one complication. So I went to my data, and apparently I must have left my phone on and I used up all my data, because my data shouldn't end until Wednesday. I always forget to shut that off. So I had another live stream going and the data went out. And the third complication was actually the first complication. John Escape, a good friend of mine for many years, the man who bought me the water distiller, he also bought me this cell phone case that has a stand on it. You could put the cell phone on the stand. Apparently, when you put the cell phone in this case, it doesn't allow the cell phone to dissipate the heat. So I had to take it out of the case and find a fan and cool it off. So now the cell phone is out of the case altogether. It's very hot here today, very hot. Probably 31 degrees Celsius outside. So we have that and then I went to the maitre d', and a gentleman gave me the Wi-Fi code for Bellevue, and it seems to be working now, working perfectly now. So this is the view that you get while you're having the breakfast buffet. The buffet starts at 6 a.m. in the morning and goes until 10 a.m. in the morning. And it's 680 pesos, which in today's money, American, is about $13.60. But the peso's 54, so it might be like $13.20. So this is my second dish, and on this dish, I will go through the buffet momentarily, but they have Swiss cheese, feta cheese, and 2 or 3 other types of cheeses that I forgot. You can get omelets with cheese and relish, onions, dried onions, fried onions, raw onions, pickles, tomatoes. I had an egg omelet with cheddar cheese, white cheddar, and Swiss. And these big pieces of pork. They're actually spare ribs. They cook this like a spare rib. They boil it, I'm sure, because the meat falls off the bone. There is butter. There is juice, some sort of, it could be papaya juice. There is coffee, and of course cold water. And then this is my favorite, the fish. Now the reason, and unlimited supplies of crispy bacon, which is very good for you. And the best thing about the bacon, it's a no salt or very, very low salt bacon. So they have about 150 items in the buffet. There's 2 soups here, and there's 2 more soups down at the end. There's 4 different kinds of rice. There's pancakes. There's also French toast. And then all the different types of condiments that you could imagine. are also amongst the 150 items that are on that food rack. Now, it's really crowded there, so I'm not going to go up and down there with the camera now. I'm going to have my meal. But before I have my meal, I want to tell you the way I like to start my meal is the fish. I like to start my meal with dried fish. Now, they cook what we call bacala. They cook this bacala perfectly. It's crispy to the point where you can eat the entire fish, including the bones. And I do. So what I like to do is I like to have the fish on my plate looking at me while I'm looking at the fish. Then I'm going to turn the camera around, and then I'm going to be looking at the fish, and the fish is going to be looking at me. If I can get the camera to turn around. Come on, turn around. I have grease on my fingers. Camera won't turn around. That's interesting. That's a fourth problem. Okay, okay, there we go. So, what I do with the fish, because the fish is being a little rude. The fish, he's staring at me. He's staring at me while I'm eating. The fish is actually staring at me while I'm having my meal. So what I want to do is I'm going to consume the fish's head, including the eye, before I have my meal. So the fish can't make me feel uncomfortable by staring at me while I'm eating. I hate when people are staring at me when I'm eating, and fish are people too. So there you go. There's the fish, what's left of them. And now, I took care of that problem. So I want to tell you, eating the bacala, when it's cooked properly, it's fried to the point where you can eat the bones, including the head bones and the rib cage bones, and I do. So that was my major hurdle, was to get rid of that fish staring at me. That's done. So now we have the rib cage and the spine. That's all that's left. And I eat the whole fish, including the fins and the tail, if that's the piece I took. But today, there were all the fish heads. And that's the best part, the fish head. That is the best part, the head. The eye gives it an extra flavor. Okay, so we got the hardest part of the meal over with. Now, I will tell you that Jim Alver is responsible for this meal. He gave me a $20 super chat specifically to go to the Bellevue before breakfast at the Bellevue. I will also tell you it's 4th of July weekend, and these people here in the Philippines have never heard of the 4th of July. They don't know anything about 1776, nor do I know anything about their independent state. So we're on equal grounds there. Now the phone, because of the ambient air temperature, is getting quite hot. I don't know why. I have no idea, but it is. So if this shuts off again, I know I have Wi-Fi. I know I have good battery. The phone is out of the case, so if it shuts off again, it's due to overheating, because it's brutally hot today, brutally hot. And we're gonna take a walk on the beach in a little while. So after the buffet, I think I will take a walk on the beach. Jim Alver, Jim Alver, thank you. Look, what do we have to do here to get this to stay? At that angle, we have to put this glass here. But now I don't have a phone case. My phone case made the phone so hot, the phone shut itself off. So we have one person watching. Thank you for stopping by. I have a sunny side up sloppy with ham and cheddar cheese. I have crisp bacon, no salt. And literally have barbecue spare ribs. This is a barbecue spare rib. That's a barbecue spare rib. And this is another piece of a barbecued spare rib. There are ribs, but this is like the end of the ribs. I like this piece as much as the rest. And there's no bone in this. So we are sitting in a beautiful place. Scott Del Fuego. That quite the clip. That there. That ain't breakfast, that's dinner. And no carbs. No carbs. I did have one glass of juice. Thank you for stopping by. Scott. Oh, Scott. I know I sent you a way cool video, but also I have something to talk to you about. I'll be sending you some pictures. That video was way cool. I thought that was hilarious. I'll be sending you some links. I found something that you'd be interested in doing when you get here. Very much so. Now, I have brought distilled water. Literally, I brought 1 liter of distilled water. I'm working on my second bottle now. What I noticed is that YouTube is cracking down on what you're allowed to put in a video and what you're not. Words. You're not even allowed to talk about real subjects anymore without using coded word phrases, which that fella said last week. Mr. Tux. Where I had to remove the audio from one of my videos because I was talking about politics. You're not allowed to talk about politics anymore. Those days are over. You can, but you can't monetize the video. And I don't care about that, but the video also gets shadow banned. So there's no more conversation about politics unless you agree with their politics. Well, we don't talk about politics. I made a video last week that I never published on this white sand beach. It had a girl in a bikini about 12 feet away. When I was walking past the girl, said hello to her. That's all I said. I said, Mayan Hapon. Mayan Hapon. I posted the video, and while it was rendering, it was just a 3 or 4 minute clip of a white sand beach, but there was a very attractive girl in a bathing suit. Not a G-string, in a bathing suit. One piece. And YouTube would not allow monetization because it said there was sexual content in my video. Not a strike, but it just wouldn't allow the video to be monetized because of a girl in a one-piece bathing suit that wasn't even looking at me. I just walked by her and said hello, and she said hello. They are so cracking down on YouTube content. You have to be politically correct. You have to be sexually orientatedly correct, whatever that means now. I don't even know what it means anymore. It means that 1% of the population now controls the world. That's what it means. The Codex was a method of communication to hide from the vicious overlords now represented by the government and big tech. Yes. But 10 years ago, 12 years ago, those videos used to make a lot of money for me. Now, no monetization, and they're shadow banned. Doesn't matter. So, I don't make them anymore. I might. I met a guy this morning, Scott. I don't know if you were here before. He's in my sunrise video. He was sitting, well, I met him over here. His name is Steve. Big guy. And he walked up and said, "Oh, you're blogging?" And I said, "Yes, sir. My name is Michael Fazio." He goes, "Your name is Rabbi Jew Barker." That guy remembered me. He's been watching me since 2010 when I had the Beard of Wisdom, which was 2011 and 12. He goes, "You're the man with the Beard of Wisdom." I said, "Yeah." And he's here from Canada. So he's been watching me from Canada since 2011 at least, when I had the Beard of Wisdom. And I actually have the Rabbi Jew Barker shirt on. Myron. I sent one of these shirts to Scott Del Fuego about a month ago. Maybe 3 months ago now. Damn, that was a long time ago. And Steve had done many of my videos, many. And we talked about that, and then he sat down and had breakfast with his Filipino. I don't think it's his wife. I don't know. I didn't ask. Normally I don't ask questions like that. Number one, when he said that he was here on vacation for 8 weeks, I kind of have a tendency to believe that's a steady girl. Nobody spends 8 weeks here unless they have a steady girl, usually. Well, she was a very nice girl with a young man, a young boy. But that was fun talking to him about Rabbi Drew Barker from 2011. That was 11 years ago. But we're here to thank Jim Alver for today's breakfast. I did hear a couple of trolls talking about me. I did not hear the live stream. I got a few messages when I woke up this morning that two YouTube trolls, devoted a major part of their show to talking about me and making fun that what is the big deal? Fazio thinks it's a big deal to own a barge. More specifically, barge dragging. And why are they trolls? Because first of all, they know nothing about owning a barge, the responsibility that comes with a barge, nor do they understand the cost of a barge is more than the cost of a house. Barge dragging in today's money would cost you 25 million pesos. That's number one. Number two, what do you do with a 30 by 50 foot barge when you're not using it? You have to store it at a cost of several hundred or $1,000 a month. Number three, it has to be maintained. Then on the barge, there was a 6-ton. I put a 30-ton crane on the barge. You know what the maintenance schedule is for a 30-ton crane? It's vast. No longer do you buy quarts of oil. The barge had two 671 diesels that powered a Murray and Tagurtha 0707 stern drive unit. The stern drive unit, in today's world, to buy that unit is more than 10 million pesos, the motor package. So the barge itself is another 15 million pesos. So when we have those clowns, or trolls, talking about what's the big deal about owning a barge, those are two things. You no longer buy oil in quarts. You buy oil in 50-gallon drums, 55-gallon drums. You do $10,000 worth of maintenance a year just to keep the equipment running in belts, hoses, oil, fuel filters, muffler repair, stuff like that. So there are two 671 Detroit diesels that operate a Murray and Tagurtha 07 stern drive unit with a 66-inch propeller, 5-foot 6-inch diameter the propeller that weighs 900 pounds. The propeller is 900 pounds of bronze. And you guys don't think that that's an accomplishment to own something like that? Then you have a crane with a 471 Detroit diesel in the crane that will pick up 30 tons. You have to replace cables, shackles, things like that, brakes. Then there's a water pump, which is a 453 diesel with an 18-inch Rupp Gorman high pressure, high volume, 600 gallon per minute pump. All has to be maintained. The impeller has to be rebuilt every couple of years. Oils, belts, all kinds of fluids. Then, in order to get that pump to turn on, you need an 8D battery for that pump. But In order to prime a Murray, um, in order to prime the pump, a Rupp Gorman 18-inch pump, you have to get water into the pump to prime it. So I had a 10 horsepower sump pump in order to prime the 18-inch pump. That's another motor. That's a gasoline engine. You need a 10 horsepower gasoline engine to prime the Rupp Gorman pump before you start it. Then you need a crane to pick up the stinger that you wash the poles in with. So I had a 10 horsepower gasoline engine that I maintained, a 453 pump with an 18-inch Rupp Gorman, two 671 engines, Detroit diesels, into a Murray Intergurt stern drive unit. I had a 453 welder diesel, 500 amp Lincoln welder, a 453 engine in the crane diesel. And that was it. So I had 7 motors, diesel and 1 gas, 6 diesel and 1 gasoline engine. And then I had a hydraulic system in the crane that held 200 gallons of hydraulic oil. And then, of course, there was the fuel system that held 500 gallons of fuel. And you guys are out there making fun that, oh, what's the big deal about owning a barge? It was a crane barge, number one. Number two, it needed $1 million worth of insurance, number two. And number three, you had to know how to fix all the equipment. That's why I was proud of owning a barge. But you guys come on as trolls. Not one of you, nobody, not a single person on YouTube that I know of could operate that barge. And then it had to be piloted, which I was the captain of the barge. I was the captain. I brought that barge from Traverse City, Michigan to New York, 1,700 miles by myself. Then I brought it from New York City to Florida, 1,700 miles by myself. Then I brought it to Cat Island, 350 miles from Fort Lauderdale to Cat Island, from Miami to Cat Island. And then I put 6,000 or 7,000 miles going up and down New York Harbor and through the Long Island Sound. I never had an accident. That's a big deal. But the trolls, he's proud he owned the barge. What's the big deal? The big deal is that nobody out there could run a barge. Now, there are 2 people I know personally, Don Henley, who is the Truth Lady's friend, and the Truth Lady used to work for Don Henley. He could do it. There's another guy called Tommy Piles. He was pretty damn good in the barge business with tugboats and stuff like that. I know 3 people that could do what I did. That's it, in the whole world. I only know 3 people. There were probably hundreds, but I only know 3. And none of them are YouTube trolls. None of them. So I was quite proud of that accomplishment. And it was a fun thing to do. Wake up in the morning, get on your barge, start up $100,000 worth of motors and stern drive unit, release the lines, and go work like a man, a real man. Real men. Real men do real work. The people that were making fun of me could not do that. The people that were making fun of me, I've never shown any of their accomplishments in life. Because most of the people that make fun of me typically had a 9-to-5 job and worked for somebody else, which is okay. But because of their lack of ability and their lack of skill sets, they make fun of me. Not allowed. Not allowed. I don't allow that. Let me check the comments. Look, we have more comments. Yeah. Scott says, what's on the menu? I had sunny side up eggs with cheddar cheese. I had my vegetables this morning, sayote, with garlic and onions. Sayote is sayote. I don't know how to describe it. And meats and cheeses. Yeah, no carbs, Scott. Scott says, I wear it with distinction, but people know I am not the rabbi, like being an imposter. He wears his Rabbi Drew Barker shirt with distinction. Everybody should be proud. Everybody that has a Rabbi Drew Barker shirt. A moment in history. The Rabbi Drew Barker shirts represent a milestone in the YouTube genre, politics, and also the Philippines. So, meats, this pork here, Scott, this is not breaded pork. It's broiled barbecue spare ribs. This fish is not breaded, it's fried dried fish, which is excellent. No salt. I mean, no salt on the pork chops. The fish does have salt. So I'll go over the buffet in a few minutes. I'll be done with this plate and I'll walk you down the buffet. Now, I used to go to the prawn farm for a buffet. I don't go there anymore. But this is the view. So I'll go by the numbers why I don't go to the prawn farm anymore. There's a very specific reason why I don't go to the prawn farm anymore. I won't mention it. But it had to do with cleanliness. And I won't say any more about it than that. But I will not go back there. However, at the prawn farm, you're just sitting there looking at other people and tables. Here, you're looking at the ocean and a beautiful pool. That's number one. Number two, the price of the buffet at the prawn farm was 400 pesos. And it had 40 items. However, it took an hour to get there, hour and 15 minutes back. That's on average. Could take an hour and a half, depending on the jeepney schedule. So that's 3 hours of traveling. It also cost 100 pesos to get there. So add 100 to 400, that's 500 pesos. Add 3 hours of your time in traveling. Now we're looking at whatever you charge, whatever you think your time is worth for traveling. I value my time at $50 per hour. So it cost me $150 in time to get back and forth to the prawn farm. If you're valuing your time as it should be, because time is money, so it would cost me $150 in time and 500 pesos or $10 for a buffet. Here, it costs $13 for a buffet And if I have a brisk walk to come here, and I do come here, it's 7 minutes. So we're talking 14 minutes. From the time I leave my house, I'm on that staircase right there in 7 minutes. So it's a good deal time-wise. It's a much better view. And in this buffet, there's 150 items, at least, maybe more. When you add all the cereals and the juices and the coffees and so on and so forth. We're going to check that out in a minute or two, a few minutes. So this is a much better deal. Money-wise, it's 180 pesos more than the buffet in Bohol, but it's 3 hours less of travel time. So to the trolls that were hopping on the barge dragon and owning a barge and what's the big deal, I think I laid it out rather well. Not a single person that's ever made fun of me owning a barge could run a barge. Not a single person that's ever made fun of me owning a barge would even know how to start up the motors. All the engines to get the traveling motors to get the barge underway. You wouldn't even know how to start up the barge. You wouldn't know where the battery switches were. You wouldn't know where the switches were to turn on the electronics. Well, maybe eventually you could figure it out, but not one of you people could just walk onto Barge Dragon and start it up and run it anywhere. And then nobody that has ever made fun of me could actually pilot Barge Dragon. Nobody. That would be impossible. The reasons. If I tell you the reason why nobody, when I say nobody could pilot Barge Dragon, no captain that I ever met would dare to take Barge Dragon down a canal, including my father. And my father was probably one of the best tugboat captains that ever lived, because the original package, steering package, for Barge Dragon was an electronic rudder or rudder indicator. It was about 14 inches wide. So there was a lever about 14 inches long with a handle on it. So if you push the lever towards the port or the starboard, which is opposite on your side, and the dial indicator for the rudder and propulsion system would turn like a compass. Well, when I bought Barge Dragon, that didn't work. And I tried to get it repaired, but it was a piece of equipment that was built during World War II. There were no parts available for the dial, the rudder indicator. So, the only way to run Barge Dragon was to move the lever to the right and count 1001, 1002, 1003, 1004, 1005. That was 5 degrees of rudder. 30 would be 30 degrees of rudder. 180 would be a reverse of the rudder. That's not the problem. The problem was that when you moved the rudder 1001, 1002, 1003, 1004, 1005. The barge is going straight. Now it takes the barge 100 plus feet before it starts to make its turn. Now, if you're aiming for something over there at a 45-degree angle, you have to know that the barge is going to take 45 seconds to move over 10 degrees. But you have to also know how much more the barge is going to move, how many more degrees it's going to move to the starboard before you turn the rudder back. 5 to count to 5. So if I went 1001, 1002, 1003, 1004, 1005, I wait 45 seconds, the barge starts to make a turn. But now it's almost to the 45-degree angle. I have to bring the rudder back to the neutral position. If you couldn't remember where the stern drive was, you're going to not be facing where you want. And if you didn't hold it in position long enough, it's not going to go to where you want. If you held it in position too long, it's going to oversteer. And when you're out in the middle of the ocean and you look at it from above, from a bird's eye view, the barge would be going like this and like that and like this and like that forever. That uses up a lot of fuel and time. It took me 1,000 miles on Lake Michigan, Lake St. Clair, the Detroit Strait, the Erie, Lake Erie, and the Erie Barge Canal. It took 1,000 miles for me to figure out how to use that stern drive unit, where I didn't crash into stuff. I never did crash into anything because the first 500 miles is all big lakes and locks and, nothing that you're going to, nothing. But if you were to try to learn how to use that barge in a confined area like a canal system, you'd not be able to do it. I was the only person in the world that could run that barge. When I sold it to Nicholas Cripps, I showed him how to use it at Orange, outside Cat Island in the Bahamas. It was a beautiful island, and we were in the Atlantic Ocean, and I played with him on the barge for a couple of days. I showed him, because not only did I sell him the barge, but then I stayed there for 2 weeks and showed them how to use all the equipment. So Nick laughed. He was a smart man. He owns Orange Creek Marina on Cat Island. That's what he was building, Orange Creek Marina. He laughed. He said, you drove this thing from Michigan to New York, and you just drove it from New York to Florida? I said, yeah. By yourself? Which means I had to put the anchors down, tie up the barge to 33 locks and bridges, go through on the Erie Barge Canal, and then go down the intercoastal from New York to Florida. And he laughed, but he was laughing that not an easy job. Well, you people that were making fun, while I was falling asleep, I heard you talking about barge dragging. Or maybe I watched maybe 6 or 7 minutes of your nonsense. And then I fell asleep, and then I got a bunch of messages in the middle of the night. They're talking about you on this channel. Tell him I said thank you. I'm still the only person in the world that could run Barge Dragon. It was quite an accomplishment. And a few people think it's funny to own a $200,000 piece of equipment and be able to run it for 11 years and not get into an accident with it. 188 tons of steel. If you think that's funny, not one of you have an accomplishment like that. Not one. And the great thing about Barge Dragon is I have pictures and videos and proving that I own the barge, and of course the registration. I even heard on in the beginning of the troll show, he says he owned a barge, he rented a barge, he still owns a barge, he doesn't own a barge. How about 100,000 peso bet to any of the trolls? How about 100,000 peso wager that I'll give you the documentation that proves I own the barge from the United States Coast Guard? And of course, the trolls will say, that information is, he created that information. Okay. I made up United States Coast Guard documents. Okay. Put them in a federal database with my name on it, date of birth, place of origin, place of destination, port of origin, port of destination. I made all that up. Okay. Very nice. Very nice. Thank you very much. 100,000 pesos. Says, I will prove to you I own Barge Dragon. And then you'll go, well, what's the big deal anyway? I just told you what the big deal was. So 200,000, 250,000 in $1988 piece of equipment. It wasn't like buying an old beat up 1966 Nova with a 350, standard 350 in it. It wasn't like that. It was quite the accomplishment. Okay, so what we're going to do, I'm going to show you the buffet. Actually, I'm going to show you the buffet. You got to be really careful here. Got to tell you. Got to be really careful. The floor here, from all the foods, some of the foods that may have fallen on the floor, very slippery, very slippery. So I'm going to be walking slow. So let me turn this camera on. Let me show you where I am. This is the backyard of the Bellevue Resort. Oh, we have a beautiful breeze coming in off the ocean, off the Bohol Sea. This is the Bohol Sea. Over there is the ocean, out there. So this is, there's an outside bar. There's an upstairs cabana that you can bring your drinks, or they'll bring food and drinks up to you. There's a diving practice pool for divers that want to go with tanks. I would imagine if it's 12 feet deep, it was probably built for tanks. This section is 12 feet. On the next set of buoys is 4 feet, and on the set of buoys after that is 30 inches for children. So we have a 3/4 high tide coming up on a white sand beach. This whole beach is white sand. It goes that way. It goes about 1,500 feet. That's the west. And this way it goes about 2,800 feet to the east. And now if you're a guest at the Bellevue, you can sit in these chairs that are down there under the cabana. Now, some hotels allow you to go in the pool if you're not a guest. This hotel does not. We'll check that out now. And so good, thank you. I'm making a information blog for your hotel. So if you are not a guest, you cannot go in the pool. Yeah.
Yeah.
No. You cannot pay a service fee, right? No service fee.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. So this hotel does not allow you to. Now, at the Hannon in Aluna Beach, I think it's 600 pesos, and you could use the hotel pool, jacuzzis, and lounge chairs. Also, not allowed on the beach. Yeah, not allowed to on the lounge chairs. Not a guest. Not allowed.
We also have a day user.
A day user.
Yes, sir.
And what is the service fee for the day user?
As guest, but we don't offer the room.
How many pesos?
I think it's 988.
900.
Yeah, consumable at the restaurant.
What is that?
Consumable in the restaurant, sir.
900 pesos consumable in the restaurant
Yes,
per
sir.
person.
Yes, sir.
So that's $20 per person, but you can consume it in one day at the restaurant.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, so that's the way she described it to me. Is if you want to use, you cannot use the pool, but if you want to use the lounge chairs down here, this buffet they have a chocolate, like a cocoa cereal, fresh milk, and frosted flakes or non-frosted corn flakes, just corn flakes. Here they have two types of juices. Mein Buntag. What is that?
This is
Macaronis?
because we're gonna sing.
You
Yeah,
are gonna sing?
yeah, I'm like a penguin.
Come on, sing. Come on.
So if you want to, we're gonna sing happy birthday, sir.
Oh yeah? Okay, let's go. They're gonna sing a happy birthday. I'm not gonna go with them. I'll stay here. I'll stay here. This is a nice place to celebrate your birthday. Here comes another band member, singer. Okay, they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 with the Macarena things. Happy birthday to you. Okay, so here's the beginning of the buffet. And they have, I'll go through these quick. The average slice of cake or cheesecake or chocolate cake is $5. Average. Some pizza. And then kids menu. Rice dishes. Food of the Philippines. Main course averages about $16 to $20. And then desserts are always between $4.50 and $6. That's for the non-buffet. Now over here, they have corn, raw onions, peas, carrots, things of that nature, different vegetables, and then they have jams that you can put on top. So let's see, we have about 20 selections in the cakes. Say 25 with the cereal. 6, 7, 8, 9, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53. I'm counting the amount of buffet items. 54, 55, 56. 57. The bananas make 58. Watermelon 59. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 things in a jar. That's 50. That's 66 plus toast. 67. Macaroons 68, butter 69, rolls 70. Then you have French toast and pancakes 70, 71. Some other little looks like lumpia 72. Two different types of eggs 73, 74 ketchup 75, onions 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 condiments 82. Two different types of breads back there 83, 84. Onions, garlic 85, 86. Two soups 87, 88, 80, 88. 88 different foods. 88. That's quite the assortment. I would have thought 150. I was wrong. Ein Buntag. So I have to get this. Oh, dude. Really slippery, man. You should put out a sign. I think it feels like he's washing the floor with oil. It's an amazing thing, the Philippines. So 88 food items that I just counted. I'll check the comments, and then I'm going to go get a plate of food. I think. Oh, I still have time. Jam and jelly at tight. That is a 5-star buffet. So they have 88, well, I could have missed a few. Could be plus or minus. So let's just say 100 food items would be realistic. But what I got to do now, thank you for removing the trolls comment. No trolls are allowed. See, that's what you people don't get. Although I thank the trolls for mentioning me on their channels, you're not allowed to comment on my channel. Anybody's allowed to say something positive. No one is allowed to troll my channel. I just won't tolerate it. It's not complicated. 680 for a 5-star buffet? Yes, sir. Water on top. Regular guy in the Philippines is going there for sure. I'm glad I could help. You know what regular guy in the Philippines, I'm not going to pat myself on the shoulder because virtually I'm one of the few people that stop and talk to the people that I interact with in my videos. But do you see the people that criticize my channel the most? Do you see them doing anything like this? Do you see them talking with people? And you don't see any of that. There's no interaction because they don't have the ability to interact. And that's why they criticize me and my channel. And well, they should. Their education is lacking. Their ability to interact with people itself is lacking. And why wouldn't they want to be jealous of someone who has more personality in their little finger than they have in their entire life? So, let's see. Very beautiful resort. Okay. All right. Water on top of everyone's Suntan oil. That's right. That's true. No. Seafood in the buffet. Yes. Yes. There's dried bacala, dried fish. What they call the stinky fish, dried fish, and that's fried. I like that. I'll eat. I had one piece in this plate, one piece in my last plate. I won't eat another piece of it. It's very salty. But that's the only fish. Last week I saw sardines. I did see sardines. I didn't see them today, but I could have missed them. Amiga. Palihog.
Yes, sir.
Do you have sardines up there today? Sardines?
Sardines?
So-
No, sir. We don't have. Let me double check the kitchen.
In the buffet?
I know we don't have.
Not today.
Not today.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
No sardines today. Just the dried fish. That's the dried fish fried. Yeah, bacala. That's right, bacala. That's the dried fish. Cod from Spain. Now that I don't know where it's from. It's probably from the Bohol Sea. Okay. Yeah, if there's one consistency in the Philippines, it's the lack of proper internet. Hard to believe. Well, I don't know if it's the Spanish influence. I have no idea who owns the Bellevue. I don't know who owns the Bellevue. I just know that it's a really top-notch restaurant. So, what I'm going to do, I'm going to set this camera up for you to look at the bay. And or the pools. And I'm going to go use the CR. I'll be back in a few minutes.
Pineapple juice. Wala na. Pineapple juice. Thank you so much.
Okay, I'm back. I will give the bathrooms Sean the Prawn says salted cod is popular in Portugal and Spain. Well, I don't know that it's cod fish. I'm not real sure. Sean, I lived on the water since I was 5. I know how to run a boat. I know how to pilot a tugboat. I know how to navigate. I used to know how to fish for snappers because you put spearing on your hook and catch snappers off the bridge across the street from my house. I used to know how to fish for snappers. I used to know how to fish for stripers too. I don't remember how to hook up the hook. I know how to hook up flounder hooks. So I don't really know much about fishing. I lived on water since I was 5. As an adult to the age of 18. Before the age of 18, I may have gone fishing 1,000 times off the bridge, crabbing and fishing off one of the little dinghies, a dinghy, D-I-N-G-Y dinghy, one of my friend's dinghies. We used to go fishing, crabbing, fishing for snappers from May till September when they became chicken blues. That I remember. Snappers turn into, from edible, from about that big, fry them with butter, eat the whole thing, guts and all. No peeling the skin or anything, just knock the scales off, maybe cut off the fin. But we used to fry them up in butter and eat the head and everything. And then when they get to be about that big, that's when they're the best. You scale them and throw them in sizzling hot butter with some salt and pepper and garlic. Then you could pull the meat off the bone. Then they get to be about that big. They're chicken blues. That's when the meat is the best of the snapper. Well, snappers are better than chicken blues, but then when they turn into full-size bluefish, they taste like garbage. That's all I know about fishing. And flounders and fluke, I know. How to bait the hook, I know where to get them. I know how to put a heavy sinker on and you beat the ground. And you basically, with a worm, and you're disturbing the sand. But the idea is to land that sinker on top of a fish, somewhere on the fish, to get him moving so that he'll see the worm. Because basically they bury their head in the sand, or they're not looking at your meal. But if you bang them on the top of the body, it disturbs them and they turn around and look and they see the worm and they go for it. I don't know much more about fish than that. I know nothing about codfish. I know codfish. I do know codfish. I know that you get codfish in deep water in the ocean where the waves are very big, and I get very seasick. I did that once when I was 12. I got so sick. I don't know. I'm not sure if we left the dock. I got so sick. I remember it. I remember the old timers. It was a wooden boat. I was 12 years old in 1967. My dad, my Uncle Jay, my Uncle John, and my mother's cousin Fran, her husband Stewie. The 4 men and myself went cod fishing from the end of Long Island. I don't know where it was. If I knew, I forgot, or maybe I never knew. And I got sick right away. In the hull was an old fish. I remember this though. I remember looking around and you see all the beams in the boat, and the boat was leaking too, by the way. I remember that. And I was sick. I was sick as a dog. Oh God, I was sick. And the old timers, what they did was rather than see me be awake and be seasick, nauseous, they fed me alcohol. I don't know what kind of alcohol. It was okay with my father, too. So that I would stay sleeping. So basically, they got me so inebriated that I fell asleep in the hull. But I remember the smell. My Bundtag, I remember the smell. It smelled like fish. I remember that, even to this day. And batteries. Because I don't know why I remember, maybe I was near the batteries. I remember the smell of the battery acid and the fish. Because it was a fishing boat. And everybody that was in the hull had just been fishing up on top of the deck, and they had bait on their hello. They had bait on their raincoats or galoshes. Oh, it smelled something terrible. My Bundtag, guapa. I remember that. That's my entire cod fishing experience in my whole life. The bridge and off of our little 14, 16, 18 brother now, on the other hand. That man is a fisherman. He used to go cod fishing, twice, 3 times a year. And how they do it, I don't know. You see out there 6, 8, 10-foot waves all day. They get up at 2 o'clock in the morning. They get out to Long Island at 4 o'clock. They get their gear on the boat. They leave at 5. They travel for 4 or 5 hours out. They're there at 11. They fish till 3. They get home at 7, 8 o'clock at night to the dock. And then they come home and they clean fish till midnight. I don't know, man. I couldn't do that. No, not I couldn't do that. I wouldn't do that. I never did that. Plus, I get seasick. Until I'm out on the water 2 or 3 days, I get seasick. I have to be out on the water for, even on my barge, when I took it up the Hudson to Long Island Sound, and if I had to go to Connecticut, I'd get sick crossing the Sound. But as the captain, you get sick a little bit less when you have something to do. When you have nothing to do, when you're just on a boat that's moving, you get sick more often. But that was a good omelet. They let you put as much cheese and ham on as you want. I don't know, Sean the prawn. I don't know anything about fish. I wouldn't even know where you catch red snapper. For all I know, you catch red snapper even when I lived in the Florida Keys. I didn't fish. Went fishing once in the Florida Keys. I went fishing with Danny and Bill. The ocean, I didn't want to go, I didn't want to fish. I just took a ride out on the boat. Danny and Bill, 2001. The ocean was rough. I was getting seasick. They were both smoking cigarettes and drinking beers. I was stuck out there for 6 hours with them. I didn't drink at the time, and I didn't smoke cigarettes at the time either. So between their cigarettes and the sea, I didn't get seasick, but that was the last time I was on a boat in the ocean fishing, but I didn't put out a fishing pole. That wouldn't interest me at all. Putting out a fishing pole in the ocean, not one bit. Doesn't even, like, even if I went out on a fishing boat, like one of those 60-foot fishing boats, I wouldn't go fishing. I don't fish. I'm not a fisherman. My brother, though, my dad, too. All my uncles, they were all fishermen. So let's show you the ocean again for a few minutes. I'm going to go get another omelet shortly. That's the ocean, baby. That's a great song for this view, yeah? Here comes the sun, baby. Good morning.
Morning. How are you doing?
Very well, thank you. I'm doing great. I'm doing fantastic. My life is wonderful. Who am I? Oh, God. That makes me giggle. I'll be right back. I'm going to go get another omelet.
kuya. Ano ba na po? Ano ba yung panalo po? So guys, like this. Just 30 minutes. I have evidence. I have evidence. Nag-order ka na? Wala naman ba ng pag-clean na pag-clean na? Hindi, ganun lang. Ako. Banana boat, hello?
Okay, I'm back, baby. I'm doing great. I'm doing fantastic. My life is wonderful. Who am I? I'm looking over my shoulder every 15 seconds. My life is great. I'm doing wonderful. Who am I? I'm preparing to build 7-foot-high fences around my house with barbed wire and CCTV cameras. My life is wonderful. My project is coming along just fine. My 7-foot-high concrete walls, we're getting ready to install the broken bottles on the top of the walls. And the outside lighting, we're going to make it look like a night game at Shea Stadium. We have 17,000 watts of neon lighting being shipped in from Cebu proper. And don't forget, we have 3 types of wireless and wired outside remote control ultraviolet night vision cameras and day cameras to go around the whole property. I'm protected. I'm in the Philippines where there's no crime. But my walls are almost done. They're getting ready to break the bottles and implant them into the concrete on the top of the walls. The barbed wire is on its way from Cebu. We have a special man wire. We're not going to use barbed wire. We're going to use man wire on top of the walls, and we have night vision remote control 360-degree cameras plus 17,000 watts of neon lighting with a backup generator just in case we have a blackout. I'm doing my life is wonderful. I'm not paranoid though. I'm not paranoid. I'm paranoid. No, I didn't move to the most isolated location in the Philippines. No, I didn't move there because I'm a paranoid person. I'm not building 7-foot high walls. 7-foot high walls are to keep out the iguanas. And the lighting is in case the iguanas climb on the walls. Deter children from climbing over the walls. But I'm doing great. I'm a blogger. Wait till you. But I wish I could show you the 7-foot high walls, steel reinforced with bars, barbed wire, and broken glass on the top. But I can't because I'm in an undisclosed location only until someone figures out how to find me, and then I'm going to give them an internet thumbs up. Because that's the kind of guy I am. Not like Fazio, sitting on a white sand beach having breakfast. We'll never do anything like that. That Fazio guy, he's got some crazy idea of what fun is. Yeah, blogging, actual blogging, real people. Amiga? She, what was your name? Mara?
Mira, sir.
Mira? That's a beautiful name.
Thank you.
May I have a glass of cold water, please?
Cold water. You sure, sir?
Thank you, Mira.
You're welcome, sir.
Okay, that's enough. I'm enough.
Anything else?
No, thank you very much. Have a nice day, honey. Yeah, it just felt like a little brisk water. That water is bottled water, but it's ice cold. No, I do have my my distilled water. I have another bottle of distilled water. When I walk home, I'll use that. Yeah, we got barbed wire, man wire, not cow, not farm wire. We have man wire coming in. Special razor man wire. We're going to put that on top of the broken bottles. We have 18-inch pipes that are going on top of the wall, and we're going to put the barbed wire back and forth every 5.5 inches. Yeah, baby. There's nothing like being protected in an area you don't need protection for. Oh, yeah, let me show you what I did here. I re-upped. Scott Delfago would be proud of me. We have cheddar cheese. I have a sunny side up egg with ham. Ketchup. Oop, Scott. Oop, ketchup has sugar in it. Sorry, Scott. Bacon. And chicken fajada. Chicken something with bacon. So, no carbs. No carb. Well, I did have a glass of juice, which is probably, I had one before and one now. 7-ounce glass, not full, 2 6.5-ounce glasses. I don't know. Did I break my diet? Did I break the diet? Let me check the comments. Bacalao is called sorry salted dried cod. Bacalao. Okay. Thanks, Sean LePron. Thank you for that information. Like I said, I don't know anything about fish. I haven't even eaten fish except for that dried fish. Last time I had prawns was, I would say it was back in February, could have been January. Not much into fish. Yes, sir. We have on top of the barbed wire, on top of the razor wire, on top of the broken glass, on top of the fences. We have 1.5 inch solid wood doors, and then we're going to put metal doors with bars and screens in front of the wooden doors, just to be safe. Yes, sir. I'm not paranoid, but I like to fall on the safe side of the fence. The barbed wire, the broken glass, and the 7-foot high walls is to keep out those pesky iguanas. Now, if I can just figure out a way to get rid of all of these ants. We have ants everywhere. Not understanding that he lives in a jungle, he has to get rid of all the species of creatures that are natural to his domain. The both of those guys, they don't like boats. I don't understand it. If they see a bug, they freak out. Kind of like remember years ago, there was a cartoon. It was about, it was a girl, a woman, female, that saw a mouse. And she would jump up in the air and land in the arms of her husband, boyfriend, or, jump up onto a piece of furniture. That's what those are. There's 2 bloggers out there. There's 2. They really, really, truly get freaked out when they see a bug. Yet they moved into a jungle. This is where we are right now. 15 years ago, this was a jungle. It's not a city. There are billions and billions and billions of bugs in a jungle per square acre. So they move into a jungle and now they want to eliminate all the natural habitat. Now I could understand not wanting certain things running around in your house like a rat or a mouse, but it's not a big deal. It's really not a big deal. You're living in a jungle. These creatures, they have adapted to climbing, finding holes to come in and out, scampering into a doorway that's open just 1.5 or 2 inches because they smell something that they may want to ingest. Especially ants, they're really good at that. But to get upset or to be obsessed to kill bugs when you live in a jungle, something wrong with that picture. The other day, I'm not going to say who it was. The other day, okay, first of all, the aerosol sprays that you spray a bug with, say, could be a wasp, or a bee or a roach, you spray that bug like this. Watch. Watch my finger. If the spray, the ones that I saw the man using was a spray like a shot a stream of fluid. But on outside the stream was like a fog. So it shot in 1 second, a 1 second burst is going to completely cover something this big with fluid. Okay, so what happens with that is the bug, then he starts wiping his fingers and his feet and his hands, bug feet, bug fingers, bug hands, and he breathes that in, or they have a thorax, which most of you people don't know what a thorax is. They don't breathe in through their mouth. Underneath their arms are a set of gills, and they breathe in through the gills. So some of that goes on the gills, goes right into their heart and lungs. They will die with just the smallest amount of spray. So if you saw a cockroach as big as this, and you just went like that, and just the smallest amount of that spray landed on a cockroach, that cockroach is going to die within a few minutes. That stuff kills cockroaches within seconds. Like, 45 seconds later, the cockroach is teeter-tottering, and then a minute and a half later, it's dead. That guy took this bottle of spray and went like this on a cockroach. Like that, for about 2 seconds. That is wasteful. You only need the slightest amount to hit the cockroach. It's going to die. But he has no understanding of conservation of foods, which is not cockroach spray, but no understanding of conservation at all. None. Zero. He sprayed that roach like you could hear it. You could see it. His hand moving. 2 seconds on one bug. That would kill 500 bugs. Because I got it. I hate bugs. One time when I was a child, I fell down a hill with my uncle, and I fell into a hollow in a log. I don't know how you fall into a log, but even granted, let's say that happened. Why would that affect you as an adult? The paranoia, the level of understanding of nature for the two people that critique me the most is amazing. Neither one of them have the ability. Apparently, neither one of them have the ability to go out and blog, but I'm the bad guy. Neither one of them have done anything in their lives for years, but I'm the bad guy. And one of them is right about the other. One guy keeps digging his hole deeper and deeper. Thinking that no matter what he says or does, it's going to be okay. I don't think so. My opinion. I think once you threaten a man's life in the way and the amount of times, I think that's not allowed. I think that's going to weigh heavy in the end. And the other guy, he does it in a different way. I think that's going to weigh heavy in the end. The both of them, neither one of them, the both of them have zero ability to go out and blog. Okay, and here's proof. Proof is in the pudding, right? Let's go back 3 months. Let's go back 4 months. Let's go back 5 months. Since Cyclone Odette, I have 300 videos and live streams, 75, 80 from the city, hotels, restaurants, beaches, construction sites, maybe more, 75 to 100, and then 300 of, in general, blogs, not specific anything and conversations. Like the other day, I walked onto a construction site, and with total permission, with full permission, not just permissions from the contractor, but permissions from the owner to blog it. And I even said to them, if you prefer, I will blog the construction site when nobody is there on a Sunday. And the contractor, who works directly for the owner, said, no, it's okay. You can blog with or without people there. No problem. When has any of those two bloggers, or any blogger in the Philippines that I know of, in Cebu or Bohol, when have they walked onto a construction site and blogged it? Talking to each man, asking them their name. The guy who said, let me tell you a story about the blog from last week. And I'm going to tell you the truth. You're not going to believe it, of course, because you're going to say I'm making an excuse. But I'm going to tell you the truth. There were a few men on that construction site that would have preferred I wasn't there. Number one, they have no control over me being there. I have permission to be there from the owner, so I don't need permission from the construction men. I don't need that permission. I have permission to blog the site. So what the men want and what I want, what the owner wants, are all different things. The owner said, we like you. We talk with you every day on a daily basis. I talk with those people for dozens of hours, for months and months. And I made just a few short videos of the property. So number one, the owner and the contractor, 100% permission, number one. Number two, you don't see those other bloggers going on a construction site and talking to people because they don't know whether the job is getting done right or wrong. They have no understanding of construction whatsoever. You got one guy crying, oh, I've been so busy. You don't know how hard it is to pick out paint colors. And what color did he paint his house? Yellow. Critiquing me for being the yellow man for the last year. Yellow man, yellow, 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 yellow man. And what color does he paint his house? Yellow. Talk about. So, let me tell you why, if you saw the men on the job site backing away, when a construction site is under construction, if the boss isn't on the job, the workers are going to do 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, or 80% less work per hour or per day. Okay, so that's a guarantee, unless you have a good crew. A good crew are, solid men that have been working for you for years, that their goal is to get the job done, and at the end of the week, they get compensated for getting the job done. None of these men are go-getters like that. None of them. A lot of them are, but none of the men that work for the owner are go-getters. There's an independent contractor that works until 8 or 9 o'clock at night and starts at 5:30 or 6 o'clock in the morning. That guy wants to get the job done. He's getting paid by the job, for the job. He wants to get the job done and go back to wherever he lives. But the other men now, the ones that you may have seen, you go away. You go away, you come back tomorrow. I'll ask the people that are viewing this right now. If you watched the other video, tell me why one or two of the men said, go away, come back tomorrow. Tell me why. Let's see if you know why. I already gave it away, but let's see if you know why. Sean the prawn. Daisy, she would go next door and get coconuts for 10 pesos each from one of the guys that would climb the tree. And she made a little machine to scratch the coconut off. Then she would take that grated coconut, put it in a shirt, an old shirt, and wring it out and make fresh coconut milk and make pork in the coconut. And also she would, when she was here, she would cook fish in the coconut. Yes, they do have coconut milk with clams, mussels, and shrimp, but that's rare. That you'd have to buy in a restaurant on the menu or make yourself. You don't see that in every restaurant. And well, they shouldn't put that in every restaurant, because otherwise everybody would be as fat as me. Because coconut milk, in and of itself, coconuts, the quickest way in the world to gain weight. I've never seen anything like that. I went on a coconut diet a couple of years ago just for the hell of it. It's pure calories, coconut. It's pure sugar and pure calories. Go back 5 years, I think I did that. I probably gained 10 pounds in a couple of weeks. I'll never do that again. But yeah, they cook with coconut milk. And it's delicious. Oh, the food, cooking with fresh coconut milk, it's the most amazing thing. They don't have any dishes here that I saw with coconuts in them. Scato fuego. A bug or two is inevitable. Yeah, but I mean, the bugs themselves, these guys jump up like little girls when they see a roach or a bug. The bugs, I mean, I don't know. Maybe because I did real man stuff for a living, bugs don't bother me, but when I would put a ladder up against the coconut tree and hold a 6-foot pole or a chainsaw over my head, a 6-foot electric chainsaw or a pole saw or a chainsaw over my head, and with a hard hat or without, because most of you see my old videos, I don't wear a hard hat that much, and the bugs would just fall on your head. Thousands, millions of ants, cockroaches, worms, sometimes a rat would fall on your head and scamper off. And you're on top of a ladder. You can't jump up and scream like these guys. I saw that guy last week going, it was a cockroach. Jumped up, all jittery, got the spray, like that. Just walk over there and kill the roach. But he had a panic attack because of that the holler that he fell into. And that guy calls me names. Would you like clear up this other little thing that I'm doing? But the other guy is right about you. The law in the Philippines is very clear. If you can't prove somebody did something, you're not allowed to talk about it. And you don't have proof. You said you were going to provide proof. Proof that you have. I'm going to tell you right now, dude. The proof that you have is not proof. And vice versa. That man said that you dated underage children, girls. You did not. There's no proof of that. None whatsoever. In order to prove that someone dated an underage girl, here is what you need. Number one, you need to have the man who is involved and his identification. Number two, you have to have the woman the man is accused of dating as an underage girl. You have to have this to prove it. You have to have her identification. That has to be validated with the police. So, let's say you were with a girl in your house, in a private place, and she was underage. That's not allowed. But you were not in your house with an underage woman. You were not. And then you were also not engaged in any illicit activity. So he accuses you of dating underage girls, but he doesn't have her identification. He can't identify her. The police haven't identified her. Nobody can identify her as an underage girl, number one. Number two, you were in a public place talking to her. Okay. You said, let's see if you could invite some of your friends over. We'll have some fun. There was nothing sexual. There was no felony committed. You didn't say, come over, we're going to do this, that, and this thing. Not in that video. So he accuses you of soliciting underage girls. You were in a public place. You didn't say anything sexual, so to speak. Personally, I think you shouldn't have did that. But you didn't do anything illegal. So he's accusing you of committing a major crime in the Philippines. But because he hides his face.
I would like to inform you, sir, after, I think...
Yeah, 10 o'clock, right. Wala na.
Wala na.
Wala na.
Wala na.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
What's up? You will come over here, say hello? My
Hi,
buntag.
my buntag.
And what is your name?
Marian.
What?
Marian.
Marilyn?
Yeah?
Are you guapa? You take off your mask?
No, we are not.
Not allowed?
Not allowed. But we are guapa, especially
Daisy May is guapa?
Daisy May, very guapa. Very guapa.
Marilyn is guapa, Daisy May is guapa?
Yes.
Is Daisy May single?
Yes, single and available, sir.
Single and available?
Yes. Are you available, Daisy? Oh, sorry, sir. Daisy is not available.
Daisy May is not available.
Yeah?
No.
That lady, sir, is guapa also.
Guapa? All of you girls are guapa.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes,
yeah.
guapo, you are guapo.
Oh, no. No, I am maot.
No, you're guapo.
I am Niwang, no? Yeah, Niwang?
Niwang?
Niwang ko?
Macho. You know what is macho?
Muscular?
Yeah.
Well, you should have been a diplomat. You should have been a diplomat. Yeah. Okay, you want me to pay you now? Or later?
It's up to you, sir.
I'll pay you later.
Okay, just inform.
So come over here. I cannot hear you. I cannot hear you. Watch this. Come here. Because I am guapo,
Uh-huh.
the meal is 100 pesos.
No.
No, no. Come over here.
It's 680, sir.
680.
Yes. per
She
adult.
said because I am guapo, the meal is 200 pesos only.
If
No?
you-
You are bakakun? Bakakun ka?
No.
No, not bakakun. She made a mistake.
Yes, it's not sir.
680.
Sexy, I think
Thank you.
this lady is sexy, sir, and beautiful.
She is.
Yeah.
And she's single?
Married.
You guys are trying, well, some are single, some are not single. It's okay if you're single.
So, sir,
Married.
married.
Married?
Yeah, wait.
No. You married?
Yeah, married.
You're very young.
Very sexy and very
When you,
beautiful.
before you got married, did you and your husband do the haluk?
Yes.
Before marriage? And the gakus?
Yes.
Really? That's amazing.
Yeah.
Wow. Before I am not married. No haluk, no gakus.
No, look.
No haluk, no gakus.
You speak Bisaya well.
Gamay?
Am I?
Like me, gamay?
Are you living in?
Okay. So the haluk and the gakus, yeah? Before marriage?
Yes.
I didn't know that. I'm a very shy man.
Ah, really?
Yes.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. Yeah, shy. I'm afraid.
You're afraid?
Daisy May, she scares me. Yeah, the way she flipped those eggs with the frying pan, ready. Okay, salamat. Waste up by hand. So, the guy that's being accused of doing something illegal in the internet shop was doing nothing illegal in the internet shop, nothing at all. However, the guy who accuses you of that is committing a crime, theoretically, by saying that you did something illegal. And vice versa. I've told you once, I told you twice, I told you 3 times, I told you 4 times, I told you 5 times in videos that the guy who you're accusing of going out or talking that he wanted to have a relationship with a 14-year-old, now I have told you repeatedly that video had sound dubbed over it. It's not in its original format. And you keep saying it. That is a felony. But you don't get it. I don't know why you keep doing it. But you do. And you're not allowed. Not allowed to do that. And let's go even further into Philippines law. That's why I don't talk about the case. I'm not allowed to talk about the case. I'm not allowed. But with you people, let's just say, here's the law, believe it or not. This is the law in the Philippines, you 2 idiots. Even if that guy, even if he was soliciting in a sexual manner the girl in the internet shop, which he was not, and even if he was, and it was blatantly true, but it's not, you are still not allowed to say it. Because whether it's true or not, you're not allowed to say it. That's the law. Stupid law, in my opinion. But that's the law. Now, certain things that you say have less of a penalty than others, but when you two guys are accusing each other of dating underage women, you're going to get in trouble. Both of you are going to end up in trouble one way or another. I hate to tell you. And when you do it on a daily basis, and you do, just not allowed to do that. I don't know how to say it. So let's see if you could. No, I don't want you to guess. I'm done eating 3 plates. I used to go 5 plates. Getting old. Getting old. And to the little man who tries to control the conversation. He thinks he's doing social experiments. He thinks he's going to troll me out into saying something. He still doesn't have what he needs. Let's put it like that. But yesterday he started off. Yeah, I heard Fazio's trying to get in touch with me. And he spouts off his public email address. Little man. Little man. You'll know when I want to get in touch with you. I'll make a video. Then there won't be any. Does he want to get in touch with me? Does he doesn't want to get in touch with me? Will he get in touch with me? Let me give you my email. If I want to get in touch with you, I'll get in touch with you. It's not a problem. And your email has been public for years. So that was a troll. I think he thinks he's I think he thinks he's something he's not. That's what I think. I'm almost done eating. This is the last piece. I'm done. A man has got to know his limitations. That's it. I'm hanging up my fork, my spoon, and my knife. I'm done. Wow. $10, baby. The buffet is over. Imagine that. Just by chance, I looked at the clock, and it's 10:01. And I just put my fork down. It was amazing. Psychic. I was psychically in tune with the end of the buffet. I'm done. So I'm not. The only thing I have left is this butter. I was going to put it on I was going to put it on, there was chicken Alfreda, I think it's called, but I didn't put it on. I'll take it home with me. I haven't had any butter in a very long time. Normally, I don't like to waste food, so I clean my plate pretty much every time I have food. I don't like to waste food. But I'm doing great. I'm doing wonderful. My life is fantastic. Who am I? Don't answer that question. Oh, that smell. If you could smell that smell. There's a boat. Oh, that boat's 500 feet away from here, out in the ocean. And an outboard motor, two-cycle, has a very specific smell. And since I was a baby, all the motors in our family were two-cycle engines. And they all smelled exactly the same. It doesn't matter if you're on a lake or you're on the ocean. The smell of the two-cycle gasoline and oil is the same. And I can smell that smell from 500, 600 feet away now. The boat's headed out. And kind of reminds me of when I owned boats. I realize now I haven't owned a boat in 10 years. I never went my whole life without owning a boat. I had a boat when I was 5 years old, my friend Tommy and I, then Ronnie and I. Then I had my own boat by the time I was 8, I had a hydroplane, and a utility boat. By the time I was 10, I had a utility. I had a hydroplane when I was 8 with a 5-horse Elgin motor, and then the utility, I had a 10-horse Merc on the utility. Then by the time I was 14, the family bought a Crosby, C-R-O-S-B-Y Crosby, 14-foot Crosby. And then on that boat, we always had a 20 Merc or a 10-horsepower Merc. Eventually, that boat, as far as I know, the boat was bought in 1960. One or two, maybe. I might have been 12. The last time I was in New York in 2019, that boat was still at the dock. So 40, 50, boat lasted 60 years. My dad went to the New York City boat show. I don't remember if I think my uncle was there. The boat was $300. $300. He paid $300. He bought it, and the boat somehow got back to the house a few days later, and my dad built a frame for the throttle control, and we put a 20-horsepower Mercury engine on that boat with the steering wheel. That was pretty cool. And that boat lasted 70 years that I know of. That's a long time for a boat. Fiberglass, it got all beat up. Oh God, it's been frozen in the ice, sunk, semi-sunk, sunk with men on it, crabbing, froze in the ice and 3 foot of ice and slush, still around. But I don't own a boat anymore. I don't own a boat. I don't own a barge. I don't have a Cobra Mustang. I don't own a house. I don't have a truck, a Ford F-250 Super Duty. I don't have a dump truck. I don't have a Bobcat anymore. I have no backhoe. I am backhoe-less. I have no backhoe, no Bobcat trailer, no backhoe trailer, no 6-yard dump truck, no F-250 Ford, no house, no 23-foot Anna Capri with a 225-horse Mercury engine on it. No. No welder. What was the name of that welder I had? I forgot. A really good welder, not a Lincoln. I had a 300 amp with a 22 horsepower gasoline engine. I don't own a welder anymore. Miller welder. Miller. That's it. Yeah, Miller. That's right. Scott who said it. A Miller welder. I had that was a cool welder. That welder, you just push a button and start it up, and you could weld anything. You could even do MIG and TIG welding with that Miller welder. But I did not have. I had the gas, but I never had the setup for MIG or TIG. I never needed it. I don't own a welder anymore. I don't have an ocean racer anymore either. Oh, God. I don't have a boat. I am boatless. I think if I do decide to buy a boat, and I could buy a boat, I can't go in the ocean. That's the problem. I'm not allowed. The doctor said I'm not allowed to go in the ocean. But I could buy a 10-foot pontoon boat with a little 7 or 8 horsepower. 7 or 8 horsepower. I have been reduced. My boat life has been reduced to a 7. Well, I would buy under a 10 horsepower motor. But a 10 or 12 foot little pontoon Zodiac, 7 or 8 horse would get you where you want to go. It wouldn't be the quickest trip in the world, but they're relatively inexpensive, like $800, $900. You could buy one for, I think, I don't know what the price of engines are now, but a 12-foot, 10 or 12-foot pontoon with under a 10-horse motor, and then I could get the locals to pick that whole unit up and put it in my yard for about 200 pesos. Take it out, 200 pesos, put it in. Actually, that might happen. I got to get back to going out into the ocean, swimming and out to the reef and Balakasag. I got to get back out into the ocean. But in one time, I don't have a kayak either. I used to have 2 kayaks. I don't have a kayak anymore. I'm kayakless. Sounds like I'm a triathlon, but I'm not. I am kayakless. I am Ford F-250 Super Duty truckless. I am Ford F-150 truckless. I am Ford F-150 vanless. I am ocean racerless. I am Cobra-less. I am Taurusless. I had a 94 Taurus in Florida. I am Bobcatless, backhoeless, drill rigless, craneless, bargeless. I don't own anything anymore. I don't own anything anymore. I got to get a boat. I think I'm going to go work on that. I got to get a boat. I got to get back out into swimming. I'm getting so fat. I got to get back into swimming. I can't do walking exercises because I can't walk that far anymore. A mile and my leg rips apart. This infection, boy. The infection is really slowing down the progress of everything that I do in life. But I'm doing great. I'm doing fine. My life is wonderful. all day, all day, all day. I can't. And the other guy makes fun of him for looking over his shoulder 8, 10 times a minute. But the other guy who makes fun of the other guy that's looking over his shoulder like this. Stop. One guy is paranoid, and the other guy makes fun of the guy for being paranoid. That guy's building 7-foot high walls with barbed wire and broken glass on top of the walls, with enough light that you could play baseball outside at night, and closed circuit cameras with infrared capacity at night. And he calls the other guy paranoid. That's the pot calling the kettle black, for sure. Well, I didn't bring my sandals, see, which means I can't even walk home on the beach because I can't, if I walk home on the beach, my shoes will get wet, and these are brand new shoes. I don't want to get them wet. So I'll just walk to the front and take a tricycle home. Ah. Amazing. Amazing. You guys take a look at the ocean before I leave. I'm getting ready to leave. I heard that, Scott. I heard that Chicago, from Senator Kennedy, I heard Chicago was getting worse by the day. All right, so what I need to do is check the I have 11% power, which means I have 11 minutes. Unless, yeah, that's even with the computer pumping power into it. Okay, so I have no power. I have 11 minutes of blogging left. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to disconnect my external power source from my computer. I have 11%. I'm just going to give you a quick walk around the Bellevue pool area for those of you who didn't see it in the beginning or the middle. I'm going to give you a quick walk around here. Over there is the bar area. Then there are some steps here. It's an amazing thing, the Philippines. Look at the brown rock, brown steps, brown step, brown step edge, and brown tile. It's like camouflage. So if you didn't see well, or if it was at night and the lights are off, you wouldn't even see that there were steps there. You'd know there were steps there within a minute or so, because you'd be on your butt ski. But you wouldn't see them. It's an amazing thing. There are no rails at all. No rails. No rails there. No rails there. And no rails over there. That's against the law in most first world countries. But it is what it is. So I could take my shoes off, put them in my bag, and walk down the beach home. Because I only live about 1,000 feet that way, the direction that the camera's facing. And it is a nice day. I could do that. We'll see. But again, this is the 12-foot area of the pool. Then there's a 4-foot area, and the far side is kiddies for children, 18, 20 inches. And then there's even a shallower section I saw this morning. And here is the restaurant with the buffet. And there are the tables and chairs. I don't have enough power in the camera to do a blog of the rooms upstairs, so I'm going to have to do that another day. This is the staircase leading down to the beach. And what I'm going to do is walk inside and say goodbye to you guys. Those rooms up there, I think, hey, you know what, I could ask this fella here. Excuse me. Do you know the price of the rooms, those rooms up there? Huh? You don't know? You work here and you...
The prices changes, sir.
About the price.
You can ask the front desk, sir, because our rate is, we have to change it from time to time.
Right, from time to time. So
Yeah.
what is the high price and the low price?
Oh, I think pandemic.
Like 300 pesos for one day? For rooms, 300?
I think no.
1,000?
No, 6,000 is the
6,000?
yes.
Not 300?
It's also the lowest price.
Yes.
So 6,000 is 100. But at Christmas, many more pesos, yeah?
Yes,
Christmas?
yes.
How many pesos at Christmas?
I think it's around 18,000.
18,000. That's almost $400. Okay, thank you very much. So those rooms, I was right. The price of those rooms, $100 for those rooms overlooking the ocean. And now they're $120. Thank you.
Welcome, sir.
Okay, so we're done. We're going to say goodbye. I'm going to say goodbye. Okay, so everybody that stopped by, everybody that watches the video, thanks for watching. This is a real 5-star hotel in the Philippines, baby. No doubt about that. And then there are the Moto and the next one. 2 more 5-star hotels down the beach. I didn't get to blog them. So we're going to say goodbye. Where? Me and Michael. Thanks for watching. And remember, boy, the floors here are slippery. It's like they washed the floor with oil, to tell you the truth. Somebody probably dropped something greasy on the floor, and it's been really, 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 really slippery since early this morning. Alrighty, I'm Pink Permy. Scott, when I get home, I'll give you a call. And everybody else, thanks for stopping by. This is the view from the 5-star Bellevue Hotel and the buffet area, which is again 680 pesos for a buffet with about 100 items, 100 different food items, cakes, pastries, different types of cookies, and etc., etc. 680 pesos is about $13.60. So Amping Permi from the Philippines, baby. And then, of course, Amping Permi means take care always. Bye-bye for now. Oop. Oh, wait, Scott has information. Scott needs to leave Chicago this weekend to go someplace safe like Ukraine. Man, shots are popping. Only 9 fatal shootings and 2 cops shot so far in July. That's pretty good. Ah, that's right. It's the 4th of July in the Philippines. I'm at the 3rd of July. I don't even know what I'll do for the 4th of July. I'll probably just kick back and watch a movie. I'm Big Permy. 4th of July in the Philippines, baby. There it is on a white sand beach. Bye-bye for now.